just talk about the way you see it, really. Is this kind of really such a golden and stable position for Ukraine, or what are the challenges that you would lay out to your fellow panelists?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a special privilege and pleasure to be here again as a non-Ukrainian in the panel. All I can say in this very, very short period which has been allocated to me is that the future of Ukraine is in Europe. We very much want Ukraine to join the European Union in the next 10 years or so. I think whatever government you may choose in the next parliamentary elections and also the presidential elections, because the two things are very much interrelated here in Ukraine, the important thing is not to forget about the major national goal, and I think behind that there is a national unity, despite policy differences, that Ukraine should belong to Europe. That means many things, among others. In a small open economy, for example, it means that there is no such a thing as sustainable economic growth and long-term development without the rule of law. It's an important bridge between what we call policy and politics. Without a full-fledged liberal democracy, there is no rule of law. And without rule of law, there is no such a thing as sustainable development in a small open economy. I emphasize small because we all know size does matter. We have learned that from Godzilla. In certain countries, and we heard about some of them before in this conference already, there might be, even in the long run, some kind of a mobilization of national resources, both material and financial, both spiritual and scientific, to have long-term development, or rather longish-term sustainable growth. In Ukraine, forget about that. Don't even think for a second that this country can have a dirigist government in order to flourish in an extremely competitive global market environment. Now, can politics prevent policy, good policy? Can politics prevent reforms? Of course it can. And not only that, but it can reverse reforms. Look no further than some of your neighboring countries, like Poland and Hungary, where populist nationalist governments are there to try to reverse many of those market-orientated reforms, which made these countries very successful in the first place, in the first phase and first period of what we can call transition. Now, these policies might be popular for a while, but it's a dead-end street. Because if you destroy checks and balances, which constitute the backbone of what we call rule of law, then sooner rather than later it would undermine the sanctity of private property. It would also destroy the judiciary system, which is absolutely key in terms of enforcing contracts. Then governments will like their bodies and shower them with privileges and preferences, and all the others will get nothing but punishment. So then the market, as we know it in a competitive manner, will be destroyed also. And then there will be no investment, no jobs, no development. So I think as an introduction, this is probably enough.